Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the previous class, we discussed about 6 principles of internal control: record and books of accounts, indifferent checking, principles relating to staff, then changing proper supervision, and clear rules. Today we are going to discuss about some other principles of internal control. The seventh one is instruction in working. For the effective internal control, it is necessary that all the instructions should be in writing in the form of accounting manuals. Each and everything, it will be what? It will be in written form. Whatever we are performing, we are doing, there is a manual of that thing. There are policies. In that policy, that thing is written. That's why we are doing that work. Qualified and competent staff. For each and every responsibility, we will hire qualified and competent staff. For effective control system, there is also a need of qualified and competent staff. If I am hiring a teacher, so I will see whether it is qualified and he is competent, he can teach or not. If I am hiring an accountant, so first I will check his qualification and then his competence. Every staff member should be properly placed according to his skill and qualification. Now, it's not like this that one person he is not qualified and we are placing him in a position in which he have no experience, he has no qualification. So for every staff member, it is important that he have skill and qualification for performing that duty. Like if you watch the advertisements from different companies, so when they hire people, so they are writing the qualification and the competence, that he can perform this duty, he can perform this duty, he can perform that duty. So in this way, it is important rule, principle of internal control that they will hire qualified and competent staff. Or like in management, you people studied right person for right job. So this is the principle of internal control, that you will hire qualified and competent staff for each and every duty. Double system of accounting. You know what double system of accounting? There will be double entry system. For internal control, double accounting system is also very useful. No doubt it is comparatively expensive, but it must be used for effective control. Double entry system, it is expensive, but it is what? It is effective. Chances of errors and frauds, it will be less in double entry system as compared to single entry system. Incentive for honest workers. If a worker, he is honest and he is performing good, so there must be some reward for his honest work and for his performance. This is another principle of internal control. Honest and hard-working person must be encouraged. You must encourage them. He should be given some reward in the shape of promotion and cash. We will give him bonuses or we will give them promotions. Honest workers and hardworking. This principle also is very effective in improving the internal control. So this principle, it is effective. It is very effective in improving the internal control. So in this way, you can motivate the employees and your internal control, the effectiveness of your internal control, it will be enhanced. Now, if you are working in a job for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, and there is no promotion, there is no cash reward, so you will be dissatisfied and you will not perform well. And if you got some opportunity, so you will switch to other organizations. Use of machines. Another principle of internal control is the use of machines. Machines like calculators, like computers. We're talking about these machines for tabulation and keeping the accuracy of the record. Various mechanical instruments like computers and calculators, etc., it will be used. So this is another principle of internal control, that for tabulation and for accuracy we are using different mechanical instruments like computers and calculators. I think you people know about this. The 12th one is performance of duties record. Allocated functions to employees were performed according to the procedure or not. There should be a proof and proper record of their performance, and also it indicate that it has been checked properly. We are assigning duties to the staff members. Allocation function to the employees were performed according to the procedure or not. Then we will check that we give this responsibility to this staff member. He performed that duty and he performed it according to the procedure or not. We will also check that whether he's following the procedure for that work or not. There should be a proof and proper record of their performance, and there should be a proper proof of that, and there should be a proper record of that. Like suppose if we are making payment, so payment will be made through check, so there will be a copy of check attached with the transaction, with the ledger, with the, you can say, the voucher, and proper record of their performance, and also it indicates that it has been checked properly, and then there will be a regular check on that thing. So performance of duties record means when we are assigning duties to someone, so then we are checking that whether he is following the procedure for performing that duty or not. And we are also making sure in internal control that there is a proper check on that thing, that we are properly checking regularly that whether the staff, they are performing their duties according to the procedure or not. If there is not proper check, so that no one will perform duty according to the procedure. He will use his own method. So it is an important principle of the internal control that the duties that are assigned to the employees, we are checking whether he is performing these duties according to the procedure or not. And we are also making sure that this checking is on regular basis. So these are the principles of internal control. Now, the next topic, it is internal audit and internal check. Now, what is internal audit and internal check? Internal audit or internal auditor. Internal audit means a continuous critical review of financial and operation matters of a business. Operating matters of a business. Internal auditor, he is a person who is continuously and critically reviewing the financial matters of a business and operational matters of a business. Internal audit is done by internal staff. Now, this is not an external person. Who is performing the internal audit? The internal staff member. This staff member is hired by the company, appointed particularly for the audit purpose, and the company is appointing him, and his appointment is particularly for the audit purpose. These are called internal auditors. So internal audit, now external audit, it is not on continuous basis, but internal audit, it is on continuous basis. Continuously, we are reviewing, we are checking the financial and operating matters of the business. In other words, it means the audit of a business conducted by the business itself on a continuous basis. Now, you know about this thing, that what is external audit? And one is internal audit. Now, this external audit, our external auditor, he is coming to the company at the end of the year. Once. But this internal auditor, he is here inside the organization, and he is continuously checking the financial and operational performance of the company. This auditor is checking the financial and operational performance of the company at the end of year. But the internal auditor, he is checking the financial and operational performance of the company regularly. This is the main difference. This internal auditor, he is the employee of the company, and this external auditor, he is not the employee of the company. He is coming from outside the company. In other words, it means that audit of a business conducted by the business itself. Now, this audit, this internal audit, it is conducted by the company itself. They are hiring internal auditor to regularly check the financial and operational efficiency of the business. External auditor, if an independent auditor examines the books and records of the company on the behalf of the shareholders, it is called external auditor. And this external audit, this is on behalf of the shareholders at the end of the year. Now, what is the purpose? What is the objective of internal audit? To detect errors and fraud. We want to detect errors and frauds. The internal audit. Detection of errors and fraud. This is the objective of internal audit. Now, internal check. We discussed it in internal control system. Internal check is part of the internal control. Internal check means that checks should be imposed in such a way on a day-to-day transactions that work of one person is checked by other person automatically. In this way, the chance of fraud and error will be minimized. Because the error made by one person is detected by the other person. Just like I told you, one person, his work, this is another person, then this is another person, then some people are working under this, some people are working under this, some people are working under this. No, all these people, they are performing some duties and they are responsible to someone. This man is responsible to someone and this man is responsible to someone. If these people, they will make some mistakes, so his work will be automatically checked by this person. This person, his work will be checked by this person. This person, his work will be checked by this person. If they are making some mistakes, if they are making some frauds, so it will be detected. It will be prevented, you can say. You can prevent it. Nobody can make mistakes. Nobody can commit frauds. Because the work of one person, it will be automatically checked by the other person. So internal check means that checks should be imposed. The checking, you can say, the checking should be imposed in such a way on a day-to-day transactions that work of one person is checked by the other person automatically. In this way, the chance of fraud and error will be minimized because the errors made by one person is detected by the other person, because there is a check on that person. So if he is making some mistake, so the other person will detect that mistake, will detect that fraud. Objective: prevent error and fraud. Now see, there is a difference. Here is detection of errors and fraud. He will detect if something is, some mistakes or errors or fraud happens. Internal auditor will detect it, will find it, and this prevent error and fraud. If one person is making mistake, so the other person, he will correct it. So he will prevent the mistake. He will not allow mistake to happen. The following matters are included in internal check. Matters relating to allocation of power, division of work, methods of recording transaction. Now in internal check, it is concerned with the allocation of power, responsibility and authority, division of work, how work will be divided, and methods of recording transactions. Now see this organization hierarchy. This is showing the allocation of power. This man is responsible for something. This man is responsible for something. This man is responsible for something. And these people, they are also responsible for something. So here, the division of work is divided, the first thing. The second, power is distributed. Allocation of power, it is done by internal check. And method of recording transactions and how transactions will be recorded. So in internal check, our objective, our main aim, these matters will be included. The allocation of power, how to distribute the power, how to divide the work, and how the transactions will be recorded. Advantages of internal audit and check. What are the advantages of internal audit and internal check? Effective control. The internal audit is very useful for effective control over the business activities. Now, if there is internal auditor, so the system will be effective. Internal audit keeps the management always alert. If something is happening, mistake, errors, fraud, so he is alerting the management. He is informing the management. The concerned manager can remove the problem for smooth working easily. And when the internal auditor, he will inform the manager, so he can solve that problem easily. He can supervise the business properly. So one advantage of internal control internal audit and internal check is that the system will be effective, and if there are some mistakes, there are some risks, so internal auditor, he will inform the management on time, and then the management, they will take corrective actions on time. So there will be effective control on the operations of the business. So one advantage of internal audit is effective control on the operations of the business. Reduces the possibility of frauds. If there is an internal auditor in the company, so the possibility of fraud, it will be less. Internal audit is very useful for detecting the frauds in the books of accounts and records. The work of accounting staff is examined on daily basis. Now on daily basis, the internal auditor, he is checking the work of the accountant. The accounting staff has no time to plan any type of fraud, and when the work of accountant, it will be checked on regular basis, so he will get no time for planning a fraud. But if there is no internal auditor, then the possibility of frauds and errors, it will increase. Basically, internal audit, it is a continuous process. On daily basis, internal auditor, he is checking the work of the accountants. So because of this thing, the possibility of fraud, it will be reduced. Proper use of resources. The internal audit is useful for the proper use of resources. I told you, if there is a recommendation that we will purchase this thing or we will make payment for this thing, so first the top management will give the recommendation, then it will go to the finance department, then it will go to the accounts department, then from accounts department it will go to the auditor, then it will come back to accounts department, and accounts department will make payment for that thing. So in this procedure, the auditor is involved. If something is not according to, if some payment is not according to the policy, so he is not signing that thing. So it reduces the cost of output and increases the profit. So it will help in proper use of resources. If there is auditor, the last sign for recommendation, it goes to the auditor. If he gives his recommendation, then payment will be made. So auditor, he is helping the company in proper utilization of resources. Like this is management, they give recommendation, so goes to finance. From finance, it will go to accounts. From accounts, it will go to the audit department. They will check it is according to the policies or not. Then from here, it will come back to accounts department. Then accounts department will make payment for purchase of something or payment of something to that concerned purchase department or whatever that department is. So there will be proper use of resources if there is internal audit. Fixation of responsibility. It is very helpful in fixing the responsibility of poor performance of workers at each level. It evaluates the performance of people, and people can be held responsible for poor performance. So actions can be taken against the people who are responsible. Now, when we give responsibility to someone and there is proper check on the performance of that responsibility, and who is checking that thing? The auditor is checking that whether a person is performing his duty properly or not. Like it is very helpful in fixing responsibility of poor performance of workers at each level. The auditor is checking the performance of each and every person at each and every level. It evaluates the performance of people, and people can be held responsible for poor performance. And if someone is not performing good, so he will be responsible for that thing. So actions can be taken against the people who are responsible. So auditor, he's keeping an eye on the performance of the employees. If the performance is not good, he will be kept responsible and accordingly he will be punished. Protection of assets. Another advantage of internal audit is the assets of the business cannot be used for private purpose. The assets of the business cannot be used for private purpose. Auditor is checking each and everything. So if there are assets of the company, so no individual can use it for private purpose. Through internal audit, assets can be protected. Now if there is an internal audit, so the assets of the company, it will be protected. The stock, inventory and building cannot be misused by the workers. The workers cannot misuse the assets, the properties of the company. So it is another advantage of the internal audit that the assets of the organization, it will be protected if there is internal audit. Introduction of proper accounting system. If there is an internal auditor, so he will introduce a proper accounting system in which that system will follow the rules and regulations from the generally accepted accounting principles or international financial reporting standards. To maintain the financial record, proper accounting system is introduced due to internal audit. It is very useful to achieve the desirable results. If there is internal auditor, so he will try his best to introduce a proper accounting system which follows the principles from the government side, which follows the principle from international accounting bodies. So this is another advantage of the what the internal auditor. For today, inshallah, it is enough. In the next class, then inshallah, we will discuss about other advantages. Have a good time. Assalamu alaikum.